Hello friends and family, and welcome to Come Sit at My Table. My name is Tom. My camera shy wife Melissa is behind the camera videoing. Today we are going to make butter toffee candy. This is such a good recipe. It is a very simple recipe because it has very few ingredients, but I'm going to tell you, it is delicious. In fact, it is one of Melissa's very favorite candies that I make at Christmas time.
It is so hard to resist.
It is. Once you start eating it, it's just hard to stop. It is almost addictive.
It's worse than potato chips.
I would agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This candy would remind you of like a Heath bar. It has a crunchy toffee in it, and then there's chocolate on top of it. So it's very similar to a Heath bar. And I'm going to tell you, it's so simple to make. The ingredients that we're going to need to make butter toffee candy is 3 tablespoons of water, 2 sticks of butter, 1 cup of sugar, and then after the toffee's made, we will use 3 Hershey bars. Now I've already taken 3 other Hershey bars and broken those up so that we can put them on top of the hot toffee. You're also going to need some kind of a rimmed cookie sheet. Now you don't have to line it with parchment paper. I have done that just because I like parchment paper because it makes the cleanup easy. You can just gather it up and throw it away and your pan's still clean. But if you don't have parchment paper, just butter it really well and that will keep it from sticking. You want to make sure you have that pan ready before you start, because once the candy is to the point that you're ready to pour it out, you don't have time to stop and grease your pan or put paper on it. All right, let's get started making butter toffee candy. There is one thing I want to show you before we start. There's not really a time to give you about how long we're going to cook this toffee to get it to the right stage. You just have to kind of watch it. If you look at this penny, how shiny it is, you can tell that that's a new penny. That is not the color we want in our candy. We want the color of an old penny. You can see this penny here is a much deeper, darker copper color, and that's the color we're looking for, almost a brown color to cook our toffee to so that it will be ready to pour out and harden. All right, we're going to start with 3 tablespoons of water. To that, we are going to add 2 sticks of butter. And I can go ahead and turn my fire on here. I'm going to put the fire on, probably start with medium. And let that start to melt down. And we are going to add our 1 cup of sugar. Now, it's going to take a little while for this to melt and to start to cook. So, we're going to just cut the video and let this start to melt, and when it is almost all melted together and starting to cook, we will come back and let you watch how we cook it and see the color it is before we pour it out. We'll be right back. All right, the butter is almost completely melted. You can see that there's just a little bit of it still in there, but it's almost completely melted. The sugar is almost dissolved. You can hear just a little bit of it, a little bit of the graininess on the bottom, but it's almost dissolved. And you can see that the mixture is starting to bubble. It's starting to cook.
You haven't always done this in a pan like this, have you?
I have not. I usually do it in a saucepan, just like, you would fix vegetables in or something. I normally don't use this pan, but I wanted you to be able to see it, and I thought the bigger pan would be easier for the video. It would just maybe make it more visible so people could see how it was cooking. So I'm doing it in this pan today. I hope it works, but you can certainly do it in a saucepan. That's what I normally do. Now you can see that it has really come to a boil, and it will start to change colors in just a couple of minutes. You just have to be very patient and not try to rush it. Just keep it over medium heat. If you feel like it's not cooking quite fast enough, you might want to cook it over medium-high heat. Are you able to see that okay?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So, it is cooking really well now. And you do want to just kind of stir it, keep it moving. You don't want it to burn. And when it starts to get dark, when it starts to change colors and it's cooking really well, it goes pretty fast then. It takes a few minutes for it to start, but once it starts, then it goes pretty fast. Just keep stirring and let it cook. Smells really good. It's not smelling as good as it will though. Once it starts to darken, you can smell that toffee smell.
That's my favorite.
I don't know if I told this or not, but I got this recipe from a co-worker back in 1984. And we have used it, gosh, I don't know how many times we have made this candy. We usually make it just at Christmas, occasionally other times, but it's mostly a Christmas candy for us. And it does not last long. It's gone fast once we make it, because it's just so good.
Used to be a favorite treat for my grandmother too, remember that?
Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot that.
She liked it, and she liked chocolate peanut Ritz crackers. She would hide those babies.
She did. Melissa used to put peanut butter between 2 Ritz crackers and dip them in chocolate. And her grandmother absolutely loved that. Melissa took her some one time, and the next day, Melissa's aunt was there and said, "Where are those crackers that Melissa brought that are dipped in chocolate?" And she said, "I hid them because I don't want anybody to find them and eat them." And she had hidden them in her bedroom. But she loved this candy too.
Yeah, these are...
And you know, with it having this crunchy toffee in the middle, I'm kind of surprised that she liked it so much, but she really did.
Well, I think she could kind of leave it in her mouth for a while too. And
Yeah. I miss her.
I know. I always enjoyed taking and making treats like that for her.
Yeah.
Because she enjoyed them so much.
Yeah. Isn't it wonderful how food has such good memories for us? I just love that. You make a dish and it makes you think about people that you love.
Things that you've shared
Yeah.
those dishes with.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
events.
What's happening here is that the water that we put in it and the water in the butter is getting cooked off. So as that water evaporates, then the butter starts to change color. And it's starting to change. Can you tell a difference in it?
I can. It's getting a little more.
Yeah, you can see how it's getting a little more brown in here.
It's losing the white.
Mm-hmm. It's starting to darken. I'm going to turn to toffee here in just a minute or two. You can also see as I drag my spoon through it, it's leaving a trail that comes back together. You know it's thickening. Look here how it's getting darker in here. It's starting to get there. You probably won't want any of this, will you?
No, not at all. But I might, you know, for the sake of this project, take a bite.
Make yourself.
Well, you know, things I'm willing to sacrifice.
You're such a good wife. Okay, I hope on the video you can see how this is starting to get much darker. But it's not ready yet. We're looking for the color of that copper penny. You just want to keep stirring and keep it off the bottom so it doesn't stick. Turn the fire down just a hair, I think. Now, when we pour this out, unlike most of the things I do, I will not scrape the bottom. We will pour it out, and whatever comes out is what we'll use, but we will not be scraping once we take it off the fire. Okay, I hope you can see that it's really gotten much darker. It's changing quickly now. You can see how it's leaving a trail as I scrape. It's been about 7 minutes since it started to boil. Honestly, I'd never timed it before, but I did purposefully look at the clock when it started to boil just to see. I think we're close to being there. So it's been about 7, almost 8 minutes. And I think that's it. I'm going to turn it off. Get my gloves on so I can pick this up. And we will pour it onto our cookie sheet. I am not going to scrape that out of there, just in case there's anything burned on it. We don't want to get that burned taste. Then I'm going to shake it a little bit, get it spread out thin. The thinner it is, the easier it is to chew. So try to spread it out some. It's already hardening. It's not spreading much. Now, while it's still while it's still hot, we are going to take our 3 Hershey bars that we have broken up and just lay those right on top of it. You don't want it to go down in it. You want it just to lay on top. And just kind of spread those out. And the heat from the candy will pretty quickly melt the Hershey bars. Once they are melted, we will come back and spread that chocolate all over the top of them. Over the top of it. Sorry. Now, the easiest way to get that chocolate to melt is just to turn another pan upside down on top of it. And you can just leave it there for a minute, maybe 2 minutes, but the heat will quickly melt that chocolate. When the chocolate has melted, we'll come back and spread the chocolate over it, let you see us do that. Then we will have to put it in the refrigerator to let it cool. And once it's cool, then we will be able to break it into pieces. So we'll be back in just a minute or two once that chocolate has melted. I think the chocolate has set long enough that it's probably melted or it's close anyway. So let's see if we can spread it. Now, you can use an offset spatula, but I'm just going to use the back of a spoon. All right. Oh yeah, it's melted. You can use whatever you need to. Just a knife is fine to spread this with, but honestly, the back of a spoon works really, really well. It's kind of easy just to get it to spread around. And you just want to get it as close to the edge as you can because you want every piece to have a little bit of that chocolate on it. Boy, that smells good.
Yes, it does.
I'm ready for this to be cooled and broken up. Okay, now that's really all there is to it. We're going to stick this in the refrigerator and let it cool for, oh, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, just until it firms up and it cools down. You don't want to break it while it's still hot. So we'll let it cool down for a few minutes, and then we'll bring you back to let you see us break it up. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Our toffee has been in the refrigerator for longer than 10 minutes. Actually, we kind of lost track of time, and so it's probably been more like 20 minutes, which is fine. But I wanted to show you how the pan cleans up. A lot of people, when they hear the word toffee, they're afraid to make it because they're afraid of cleaning the pan. They're just afraid it won't come out. But I'm gonna tell you, it literally just almost slid right out of this pan. I just took a little scrubby and scrubbed one spot about the size of a dime. It took me 15 seconds to get it out. Came right off the spoon. The trick is to put hot water in it and just let it soak for a couple of minutes, few minutes before you start to try to wash it out. And most of it will just wash out. Okay, let's take our toffee out of the refrigerator and we will break it up. There you can see it has hardened. The chocolate has firmed up great. Looks really nice. And in order to break it, all we have to do, well, I'll tell you the way I like to break it. I'll just show you here. I like to take a wooden spoon, put the handle under it, and push down. And that just breaks it into pieces. Makes it very simple, very easy to break up. Just push down on it, and it will break. Now, you don't have to do that. You can just use your fingers and break it up, but you will leave some fingerprints on it if you do that. So that's all there is to it. And you know, I have to have a piece. Can you hear the crunch?
Absolutely.
We cannot keep this here.
Yeah, we will definitely have to share this.
I'm going to get one of those little Christmas tins and I'm packaging this up right now. And we'll take this to somebody because if it's here, I will eat every daggone bite of it. Oh my goodness, that is so good. If you've never made your own homemade butter toffee, you're missing out. You really need to try this. It is so good. All right. We are so appreciative that you have joined us on our channel. Let me grab a napkin here. We really do appreciate that you watch our videos. We would appreciate it if you would click the thumbs up, just to say you like the video. And on this side, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and the notification bell. Now, once you do that, you don't have to do it again. And then, of course, we would appreciate it if you would share our video. That just helps more people see it. Remember that under the video, there's a description box that you can click on where the title is, and it will expand, it will open, and you can find the written recipe there. Melissa always puts the written recipe so that you can look at the recipe rather than just listen to the video. So if you want to click on that and see the recipe, you can do so. We really do appreciate that you join us. And remember, you are always welcome to come sit at my table. Merry Christmas.